I'm going to show you the easiest way to add these two little triangle units onto this 9 patch. And it's raining at my house, so forgive the background noise. But what we want to do when we sew this piece to this piece is we want the point here to be in the center of our block here, like that. So the easiest way to do that is to fold this in half and give it a little finger press right there. And then you have a fold line right there, which may not show up very well on the camera, but there's a little fold line right there. And you can line that point right up to that fold and then have your raw edges even on this side before you sew it. Alright, so we got this triangle sewn on, and I want to point out that it overhangs just a little bit here on the sides. It's not flush with this raw edge. And then press it. I recommend pressing before adding each piece, especially with this project. Now we're ready to add this triangle on to this unit. And again, we want this point of our triangle to be centered. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to fold this in half, but we need to line up our raw edges up here, right there, so that it's in half. Give it a little finger press, and then we can fold this over, flip it over, line our point up with our fold, and then when we sew this 1/4 inch seam, what we want is right here is where our needle should start at our 1/4 inch seam. So from here's our 1/4 inch seam to here, and then our needle should drop right there to sew our 1/4 inch seam. Just one more little note here. When you're doing the other corner and you're putting this triangle on, you are going to start up here and end sewing down here. But same thing, you want your needle to be right here when you finish sewing. Alright, so here's this piece with this triangle sewn on. And let me flip this back over. You can see right here, this is where my sewing started, right at that intersection. So when I flip it back, this is a nice straight line here. And then before I sew this next piece that goes on here, I'll cut these little dog ears off so it'll be nice and straight. So that's what it should be looking like. Alright, I want to show you one little thing here. When I sewed this piece on, I started from the other end and sewed this way. And when I ended, I didn't end right at that intersection. It's over a little bit. So this is what it looks like when that happens and you fold it over. My straight edge of this piece does not line up with my straight edge of this piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim that off and make it nice and straight. But I just want you to recognize when this happens, what causes it. And it's not starting or ending right at that intersection. Alrighty, I want to show you a little trick I came up with for trimming these dog ears off and for making sure we have a nice straight edge here. This is my block lock ruler. It's a 4x8 finished is the size, and it's a flying geese ruler, and the block lock rulers have this groove here in the bottom side of the ruler, and my seam allowance is going to fit right in that groove. So I'm going to snuggle the ruler up so that the seam allowance is in that groove. See that? It makes a nice 45-degree on both sides. I'm going to make sure it's in there nice and solid. Now, there's a sliver right here that I can trim off, plus the dog ears. I might not have caught that sliver to trim off before. And then I know that this is going to be nice and straight.